This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News, news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
When they got ready to come down to Memphis to do some filming for the film, they asked the music director, who is Eva Jesse, and you need to look her up too. Eva Jesse was the music director for the film, came to Memphis on a train with all the rest of the cast, and when they came in, she inquired to a Pullman porter about a soprano that he could recommend for her because her soprano refused to come south. Okay?
I got you. Mm-hmm.
And so he sent her to Central Baptist Church, where my mother was a member, and in the choir and the pianist for the church. And she went over and talked to my mother and asked her would she come downtown to the Old Travelers Hotel and do an audition for her. So she did, and that's how she got picked up. She was not the only acting she did in the film was the acting they did with the singing.
Oh, okay, wow. So what was your mom's name at the time?
Georgia Rogers Woodruff. Georgia, please spell it right. Rodgers Woodruff.
Okay, so how did she explain it to you all? Was she highly excited about being part of a film?
I was not born.
No, I know, but did you ever talk about being in the film with you all?
Yeah, we talked about it all the time, and I donated those stills to the library in the Memphis room.
Wow.
She talked about it all the time, and other people talked about it too because they knew about it. But that's what she was doing. She was singing, not acting as such. But the singers had to act because they had to have background people, as they were singing. Some scenes. Have you seen the movie?
I saw the clips. I haven't seen the whole movie.
Okay, well, you have to see the whole movie. There were some places where they had to do some dancing, and they had to do while they were singing, they had to go to a church. They had a funeral. They had to sing there. They had to shout and pretend that they were part of the funeral congregation. And so all of that was done with the singing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And there's quite a bit of music in there, so you'd have to see the film to appreciate it. So the main actors in the movie were Dick Haynes and Nana Mae McKinney. Those were the leading actors. Now, we had another young man from here. We had three young men that King Vita picked up at the Peabody because they used to dance out in front of the Peabody. And one of them was Robert. I cannot think of Robert's last name right now, but he was Bones that used to be on Bill Street with Rufus Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find that out. And all three of those boys went. They were young at that time, little fellas. So they all went to Hollywood also and acted in the film.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So did your mom ever get a chance to act in any more films? Did she have a desire to pursue?
She did. No, when she came back, she went one more time, but she went to New York and worked with Miss Jessie, and that was just for singing. It wasn't a movie. Now, Eva Jessie was the woman that directed the music for George Gershwin's Porgy and Bess originally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, wow, your mom moving in pretty heavy company right there.
Oh, yeah, very heavy company, yeah. That's why I tell you, you go look at the stills, and you see pictures, of King Vita, first of all, because, did you know anything about him?
No, man, tell us about him. He was a white guy from Texas.
Yeah, he was the director of the film. Yeah, you would have to do some research on him because he did a lot of other pictures after that, but that was the only black.
I'm here. You was the only black film he ever done?
Yes,
Okay, that's Miss Carter. Yeah, I want to ask you, I know at that time, the music I saw was like a lot of jazz and blues, and how our people consider that the devil's music. Did she have a problem coming from a church background and participating in a project like Hallelujah, as far as the secular music go?
Only in the minds of some of the people here in Memphis, because I can remember even when I was a teenager that I was playing for a church, and the lady said, "Oh, that's that show woman's daughter." Yes, those narrow-minded, unintelligent Memphis folks. Some of them had that attitude, but it didn't bother her because she went on to be. Well, see, she was in the church, so she stayed in the church. She worked nationally and locally with the Baptist conventions and congresses, and Miss Lucy Campbell was the director at our church at Central. She worked with Lucy Campbell with her music. So she did a lot with the gospel music, but she went on and made that film and came back home, and she stayed here.
What was your mom like? What would you say her proudest professional achievement would be? Would it be that film, or would it be something else involving gospel music, perhaps?
Well, that was a big achievement for any black person in 1929. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a big thing for her. But after that, she did a lot of work, as I said, with the church, because she did the National Baptist Conventions and National Baptist Congresses, and assisted Mrs. Lucy Campbell, because Miss Lucy Campbell would come in church on Sunday morning and decide to sit down and on the piano stool with my mom and just sing something to her and tell her to play it. One of the songs that my mom's name is on is "My Savior" that Miss Campbell wrote. And then Miss Campbell sang "Touch Me, Lord Jesus" to her, and she was the first to play that song for her. So she did a lot with the church all the way through. Mm-hmm.
I know, for people that know Lucy Campbell, she was kind of like what Tommy Dorsey was to gospel music. You know, if he was the father, it could be said she was the mother of gospel.
Right.
Music,
exactly.
You know,
right.
So that's incredible right there. I mean, and also, I just for the fact that what I have seen from the film, it's like it's very contemporary. Like some of the stuff that, like the close-ups and some of the cinematography is just beautiful. The choreography and stuff like that. It's like it could have been done today. That it was done like yesterday or something.
Right.
I know it was in black and white.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it could be.
I want to ask you like this. Like I know Henny Mae McKinney. What was your mom's thoughts about her? Because I mean, to me, like she was wild. I mean, to see her on film.
Oh, she was an actress.
Mm-hmm.
She was an actress. She was
just 16
okay.
at the time, right?
Yeah, she was just 16 at the time, but she was an actress. She wasn't. No, I don't believe she was wild. Mama never said she was. They were all young and they all enjoyed being together. But there was, the director and the older members of the cast kept all the young folks in line.
Mm.
Yeah, the lady who plays the grandmother in there. Names don't. I can't do names for you today. And she was older, and I think she came from. I'm not sure where she came from, but she had been a teacher somewhere, so she kept the younger folks in line. Because now my mom at that time was about 20. She should have been about. She got married in 27, and she was 22. She was about 25, almost 25 years old.
Wow.
So, and Nana Mae McKenna was about, she was 16, like you say. But see, Dick Haynes was much older, and he was pretty much in control also.
So most of the movie was shot in Memphis, right? Memphis and Arkansas?
Some of it was shot in both places. No, all of it was not. Some of it was shot in California.
Oh, wow.
They made some scenes down on Porter Street. You know where Porter Street is?
No, ma'am.
Lemoyne College, where it is now,
okay,
is just a few blocks from where Porter is. And there was a bayou over there, and they used that for the baptismal scenes.
Oh, wow.
And so they used a lot of extras here in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
They just gathered people from the neighborhood and had them to stand along the route so that they could, do what they were doing, that little demonstration they were doing for the baptismal. So they did that there. Now, what they did in Arkansas was on, here again names, a plantation that was owned by the Wilson brothers. That's where Wilson, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
You know about that too?
Oh, no, man. I'm just intrigued by the whole thing. The fact that you got this movie that was made in Memphis over 80 years ago. There's no historical markers or anything to mark even the baptismal scene.
No.
Lemoyne College. I'm just weird. This town is weird to me. And all this richness as far as African American history, you can't beat it. It's up there with any place in the country.
But Ron, you have to understand the history of the South at that time. Okay, they couldn't care less. I mean, the people in charge couldn't care less about what was going on. To them, they didn't even think about it as being important because the scenes were made in a black area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still black, but at that time it was really, really black with a lot of little bitty houses, little shotgun houses and things along the way. And nobody was concerned about what was going on over there, even though King Vita stayed at the Peabody, okay? But the cast stayed at the Black Hotel, okay? Travelers Hotel. They couldn't stay at the Peabody.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, that was part of the segregated South. So nobody paid it any attention.
Let me ask you, like, what was, like, the fact that, okay, this film got nominated for an Oscar back then? And was that, like, could your mom tell you about any buzz that, like, Memphis take pride in the fact that here was this, even though it was an all-black film, it was nominated for an Oscar back in 29, or was the Oscar such a big deal back then as it is now?
I don't remember it being nominated for an Oscar. If that happened, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it said it was nominated, but, I mean, as far as, like, it takes, it says, like, one of the first all-black cast talkies ever. So, right there, this is historic, but also to be nominated for an Oscar, I think adds a lot of, in the fact that this is an all-black film, because normally a lot of times people get this perception about anything that's all-black can't be done that well.
Well, yeah.
You had a white director, but I'm saying the cast and talent was basically all-black talent.
Exactly, But it just wasn't, you just have to know the times, Ron. It just wasn't, black was not important then. And it was surprising, I guess, to Hollywood and everybody else that King Vito wanted to do it. Because he was very prominent, okay? But he did, and it came out, it was successful. They showed it here in Memphis. It was at the movie and all over the country. But nobody gave a thought to how important it was.
Now, what was a place, what was a place that black folks could see movies back in those times?
Oh, we had neighborhood movies, okay? Like up on Mississippi and Walker, we had a movie called the Ace Theater. That's where I used to go as a child. And we had the Georgia Theater down in Georgia and Mississippi. And then we went downtown. We went to the movies downtown, but we had to sit in the balcony.
Right.
Okay, the Malco and the Warners and the Lowe's Theater. We had 4 Princess Theater downtown. But when we went to those movies, we had to sit in the balcony. You go in the side door. Are you familiar with the Malco?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, you go to the Malco. We go in the front now. But around the corner on Beale Street, there was another door. And that's where we went. We went through that door and went to the balcony, way up in the balcony, not the first balcony, but way up in the balcony, okay? Mm-hmm. And we had to do the same thing to the other shows. Yeah, we could go to all of them, but we just had a certain place to sit. Now, Beale Street had movies. Now, we had the New Daisy, the Old Daisy, and the Palace, Beale Street. And we could do what we want to do down there, because that was our street.
Yeah, it's different now, though. But
which it is not anymore, right?
Right.
But Beale Street was ours. It was black. That was it for us, and we did whatever we wanted. We had the best restaurants. We had everything we needed right on Beale Street. Okay, but once we left Beale Street, then segregation took over again.
I mean, Beale Street always got this perception of being this bunch of buckets of blood, like places where people get stabbed on a regular basis on the weekends, and there's a rough and rowdy crowd. But it wasn't like that at all, right?
No. Now you had some, just like you have them now. But no, it wasn't like that, because we used to go down there as teenagers. As a teenager, which was much later than after Mama's movie. It was fine. We got along just fine down there. We had a Harlem House down there. We had like I said, restaurants. We had a Chinese restaurant. We had restaurants, everything right down there. Clubs, nightclubs, everything right there.
Black owned. It was really black owned at the time.
It was black only. It was black owned and black only. Yes.
Black owned and owned. I like.
Yes.
It's weird though. Like, I guess it's like, we don't control our narrative of our history. Like the perception of Beale Street was it was like a rowdy place. It wasn't a place where professional black men and women went to work and live and play. But it's weird how this perception is. Like, it's weird to me how people come all around the world and see Memphis as this diamond, as this show place.
Right.
But people here can't see that. You got folks from Japan and Europe coming to North Memphis to these clubs that we scared to venture to. Parts of the neighborhood we scared to venture to.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So what is the issue with that? What's wrong with us then when it comes to understanding our history and identity and our place?
Well, they gave us a place, Ron, and we had to stay in it.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that.
Yeah, they gave us a place. We didn't have any choice, so we had a place. We stayed in it, and truthfully, we got along very well. We had everything that everybody else had. It just was segregated. We had some, like I said, good clubs, good restaurants, good hotels, everything. But they were all segregated. And the only way you went to the Peabody, you went in the back door.
Wow. Even if you was a rich black person, if there was Robert Church Jr., he still had to go to the back door.
No, I don't think he would have gone to the Peabody. He probably didn't go to the Peabody. No, I'm talking about the people that worked there. Mm-hmm. Only people that went in the Peabody were the people that worked there. Okay? Gotcha. Went in the back door and went to work and made lots of money.
Well, hey, that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. Well, actually, this, like, your mom seems to be such a fascinating person. Like, how do you share this legacy? Do you show, like, her film, the Hallelujah film, to the grandkids and to the people in the family? Yes. And what are their reactions to the fact that their grandma was this, or their ancestor or your predecessor was this famous person or this very important figure?
Well, they just tell everybody else. They tell their friends. My grandmother was in a movie. Mm-hmm. And truthfully, it's very difficult in some cases with the youngsters for them to believe that. Okay? Wow. That in 1929, there was a movie of all black people, and their grandmother was a part of it. Okay? So, yes, I have the tape right here. I'm sitting here looking at it now. But I play it for them quite often so that they can be sure. And I show them her so they'll know who she is. And then I have a picture that I gave to the Commercial Appeal when I did the story for them. And I have one of the pictures that she had in the stills. And I had it put together and framed so they see that every day. Plus, I have a picture that was made in Hollywood by a Hollywood photographer of hers, which is fabulously beautiful. And it hangs on the wall in my living room.
No, that's amazing. I was like, your mom is responsible for why we got black directors and why we have black folks that got recognized for Oscar winners like Denzel and Morgan Freeman and Forrest Whitaker and Halle Berry.
Oh, yeah.
And Hattie McDaniel. To be a part of that, as a pioneer and trailblazer. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's not nothing that should be taken lightly. So, and I think our kids need to know about this. I think that Memphis schools should have a curriculum that everybody be required to learn about the black history of Memphis.
Well, yes, I agree. I agree, Ron, because they show the same people all the time. Now, one year they did run my mom, okay? Mm-hmm. But that's been, back some years ago. But they show the same people all the time, the people that we're familiar with, and I have nothing against that because I love Benjamin Hooks dearly. He's a friend of mine, and Maxine and those people that they show, and of course I loved Isaac. He was a late comer, but they don't go into the depths that they should with the black history of Memphis. They just don't. And I don't know who's responsible for that. I guess, as you said, the school system should do something to recognize the fact that we have had people all the way back to the 20s that were doing something worth talking about.
So I want to ask, like, your mom, like, when did she transition? What year did she transition?
What do you mean?
Like, pass away.
Oh, she died in 81.
Well, it just be said. Would you say she lived a full life, a very fulfilling life?
Oh, yes. Definitely.
And what was one thing you learned? Like, what was one important thing you learned from your mom as far as how to live your life, and what did you take from your mom's life?
Well, she was a good mom, and she was a glamorous mom, okay? I never was able to live up to her glamour, but she was a very glamorous person. If you meet anybody that knew her, they'd tell you that she was when she came back from Hollywood, she was glamour plus, okay? Mm-hmm. And she came back, and I was born in 31, and she was a stay-home mom for years. And then finally she decided after I went off to college that she wanted to go back to school. And so she went to school, because she had gone to Lemoyne back in the early 20s. And she went to school, graduated from college, and went into the teaching field. And she taught until she retired.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So she was like this person that probably was a very popular teacher as far as like the stories she could relate to people and just her life experiences that she was able to impart.
Right. Right.
So I'm going to ask you this too as well. What would be something that could be done? I mean, as far as honor your mom in Memphis, what would you like to see done to honor your mom and what happened back in 1929?
Well, I'd like for it to be mentioned, that just mention it and talk about it as much as you want, but at least mention it and make it known that it did happen. Not only for my mom, but for Bones and the other guys too. And because they were important. You know, Bones worked on the Bill Street with Rufus for years and years and years, and as a comedian and dancer, because he could dance. He danced in the movie. Okay, so I would like for it to be put out there so that everybody knows that it did happen, and maybe if they would show the movie somewhere and see if we could get people to go, or maybe. I don't know about school children because I don't know whether they could really appreciate the movie because it's so old and it has a lot of things that they're not familiar with, okay? So I don't know whether it would be a joke to them or whether they would accept it for the classic that it is.
No, I'll tell you something. Well, I say, thank God for the internet because, like a brother said a long time ago, he said the revolution will be televised, but I say it will be online. Because I just seen the clips of Nene Mae McKinney doing a Swanee shuffle, hear that band and to see all the cinematography and choreography is outstanding.
Right.
Because, when I looked at Citizen Kane for the first time, it's like that movie was made back in the 40s. That's why Orson Welles had these problems because you make a masterpiece like that, you can't make nothing better than that because it's still up to date. I remember, sometimes I'm really big into Jimmy Lunsford, another person with Memphis ties.
Right.
And every time I show people that short he did back in the 30s, of him, you got these young black boys, Memphis man from Manassas High School, and his Fisk alumni buddies, and they put on this phenomenal show. And they was if they was around during this time, they'll be superstars. The choreography, the musicianship, the presentation.
Right.
And when I show kids or show even older people, I show Congressman Cohen, I show kids at Manassas High School about this, they just can't believe it. It blows them away that folks from their neighborhood was able to achieve something like that. It was out of sight. That's why I said we need to talk about the history because these kids need a better image of themselves because really self-esteem is a universal human problem.
Well, it's things of the past. It's history that they should know, and it's black history that they should know. And if the only way they're going to know is for somebody to teach it and to show it to them and give them the sense of what's going on. And until they do that, they're going to be backwards. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so, yes, we do. We need to do more, and hopefully we will. That's what Emerson said he's going to do some this year, too, because he called me the other day and was trying to get some information on Miss Lucy Campbell. And Miss Lucy Campbell has a book out. I mean, the book is out by Dr. Charles Walker of the Baptist Convention. I have it here. And Emerson went and bought the book. A lot of things he did not know. And he went to school at Manassas.
Oh, he knows a lot about it.
So he said now that what he's going to do, he's going to go to the schools and tell the children about himself, because they don't know. So that's what needs to be done.
Well, you know what? I think we should do something. Since this is the 80th anniversary, this year marks the 80th anniversary of Your Mom's Landmark movie. We should try to do something, coordinate with some institutions in this city, and see what could come about of it.
Okay.
Because I think it's so important. I know people think I'm crazy. I'm a young guy. I sound like an old guy, I guess. But
you're a young old guy, huh?
Yeah, I'm a young old guy, right? But I'm not. I could move. I'm still fast and stuff. I still enjoy life where I can, but it's kind of hard for me to. It's like Marcus Garvey said so many years ago. People without history is like a tree without roots.
Right.
You can't go nowhere unless you know where you came from. And I hear so many people that's older than me, like in their 40s even. And, they talking about, well, it's just the way it is. Like, if Dr. King thought like that, if Frederick Douglass thought like that, if Harriet Tubman thought like that, yeah, it would be just the way it was.
Exactly. We'd be still slaves.
We'd be still slaves, right. So we gotta go beyond that. And also, I want to ask you this, because I know, you see some things in your lifetime, like, you talk about the segregation, Jim Crowism, and racism, and you live in a time now where we got a identifiably black president.
Right.
And I want to get your feelings about that. Did you ever thought you see the day where you see a black man with a beautiful first black family going to the front door of the White House?
No, I didn't. No, I did not.
Okay, I want to get your thoughts about it. Were you able to go?
No, I did not go. My family went. I did not go. My daughters and my grandchildren went. But I'm 78. I wasn't going to go fight that cold weather.
I heard that.
All that standing and walking. No, they all went. So I was pleased that happened because my grandchildren, you know, that was great. Well, for my children, too, because I had gone to Jimmy Carter's inauguration back in 77.
Oh, wow.
I had been to an inauguration, so I knew a lot of things that were going to be. I could not imagine anything like we had, but I had been to one, so I knew what was going to happen. So I was just glad that my children and my grandchildren got a chance to go. So they went, and boy, they so full of information you would not believe. So I'm happy for that. But I know I did not believe we would ever have a black president.
Now, I met some sisters. I went myself. We had, drove up there, rent a car. It was worth the trip. I got a press pass, whatever. But what gave me hope and inspired me was I saw women in their 70s and 80s and even 90s. Some with wheelchairs and strollers.
Right.
Like, hell, what's wrong? I mean, I guess they kept on saying, an older elder told me, like, I got to just make sure it's really real.
Yes.
Before I go, I got to make sure this is the real deal because, it was 5 million people there. If they wanted to bring back slavery that day, all they had to do was lock down D.C. with so many black folks. McDonald's made so much money off of black people.
Oh, yes.
It was so many black folks, but it was peaceful, but it was 5 million black people easily, but people was bouncing off each other like ping pong.
I know. I watched
but to see them sisters, like the elders, be so calm in the middle of they're like in the middle of the eye of the hurricane. It was calm and serene and peaceful.
Yes.
And everybody else was like, this ecstatic and crazy acting and moving, but it was very peaceful and it was very spiritual.
Yes, it was. It was very peaceful. I was so surprised that they could have that many people and everybody stay have self-control and not get into a problem. So they said there were no problems. So if there were minor problems. But I thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever watched. And I watched it all day.
That's good, because what I like about what he did, too, was how he paid, people criticize him for not coming to Memphis in the 40th anniversary observance of Dr. King's assassination. But what he did with Dr. Joseph Lowry and how he acknowledged, because a lot of people don't know, Aretha Franklin, she's from Memphis, but that Dr. King gave his I Have a Dream speech first at her daddy church in Detroit. Right. Before he gave it to D.C. So, the fact that he understands his time and place and what it took for him to get this moment, he's not running away from him, but at the same time, you look at his family and look at his background, he is the world, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, he is.
He can empathize with everybody. It's good to have somebody in the office that could put together complete sentences.
Right.
Think before they talk.
Yes.
And be smart about it and show black guys that it's okay to be cool and have your stuff together.
And I hope, I certainly hope that that's going to help our children, because I'm concerned about our young people, our teenagers and our young people, and I'm hoping that they will see this and realize that the sky's the limit. If they do what they're supposed to do, keep themselves out of jail, don't go to the pen, don't steal, don't do things that go get you in trouble. If I can just get them to understand that if they just look at him and make him their role model, it can change our whole race, truthfully.
That's so true.
Yeah, it's going to take some doing, because we need that so badly, because some of our children just don't know what direction is. And I'm just hoping that it will happen. It's not going to help them all, Ron.
Right.
But it will help a lot of them, because I've seen some excited young people, and it just makes me feel real good that they're so excited about the fact that he is president. So that's going to make a difference in some of them, not all of them. Can't win all of them.
That's true. At least all you can do is try.
Right.
She told me that, Ron, you can't fail at anything if you keep on trying.
Right. Right. So I think it's going to be great.
So, Ms. Carter, you got any last words for this segment? I know I got to come back at you again from Lucy Campbell and some other stuff. And we'll be working on the Hallelujah thing, try to get that resurrected in the city.
Okay.
You got any words for our listeners? Any words you'd like to share?
Well, I appreciate you hanging in here to get me to talk to you.
I think I get you your Sunday best, though.
No, you didn't get me in my Sunday best, because I wanted to be in my Sunday best. But I've enjoyed your being able to hang in there and just keep coming. That shows that you have a spirit of doing things like they should be done. And I'll be glad to talk to you. I don't have anything else. I just appreciate you being interested in my mom. That's
important. It's really important. Your mom is me. Everybody, these are us. Your mom, what she did, she's me, and I'm her, and you me, and I'm you, and all that stuff. We are
Right.
So we're all connected, man. We're all brothers and sisters. I mean, we all connected. I mean, especially with the slavery thing, we all really, really related.
Exactly. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, and I certainly appreciate you. So it's been good.
That's cool. Before I let you go, I want to get your Super Bowl pick. I know you're a football fan. Who's going to do it, Cardinals or Steelers?
Well, my son is a scout for the Cardinals.
Oh, wow.
So
he did a great job.
He was the one that recruited Roger Camati from Tennessee State. And so I'd have to be with him Sunday, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Cardinals too, because I mean, what they got. I mean, I went to school in St. Louis. I went to WashU in St. Louis. And I went there when they won that championship. I'm a big Kurt Warner fan. I'm glad to see his career back on track. But also, I mean, the head coach and another coach on the Cardinals team, they used to play with Pittsburgh. I mean, they used to coach with Pittsburgh when they had their championship run a couple of years ago. So I'm pulling for them as well too.
Oh, you're going to pull for both of them?
Well, I'm pulling for the Cardinals. I mean, I like Mike Tomlin. He's the coolest coach out there.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I like him, but I hate to go against him. But I want to see the Cardinals do it.
Yes.
Because they never had one. They never went this far.
61 years, they said today.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 61 years they haven't done anything. So I'm pulling, and I'm pulling hard because of my son.
That's right.
Because that's an advantage too.
So he get a bonus, right? If they
yes, I'm hoping he will. I'm hoping he will. Yes. And he's going to take his son, so my other grandson will be there, and I'm very, very proud of them too. So we just like doing things.
Well, y'all come from strong people. Y'all got some strong roots in your family. So thank you, Sister Carter, for sharing all this with us.
Well, okay, Ron.
Word is due cousin. We love you madly.
Well, thank you. We'll be talking.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.